good morning, good afternoon, dear Pinhead folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bobby Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's still the first of the month. Get your check and come
Wake up, wake up.
on. Yeah, like Chris Rock was saying, like on the first day of first of the month, my true love gave to me 5 food stamps.
Oh my
That-
goodness.
yeah, many times when I was a kid, we lived out the country, and the man to come on, and the mailman would come. We hear that honk honk honk. If someone's home, we have to sign them. We used to get the books, we sign them. Say hey, and mom gets back from work. Hey, mom, here's the stamps. So folks, this is my first interview starting for this month of September. August was busy for me. I mean, it was a great experience for myself to go out of town and help my friend Eunice of Bad Rap. And I've always, anytime I mention Bad Rap, is they are they support me. Bad Rap, as the moniker goes, big and defined, ripped and pump, and that's the part we guys love, the rip and pump part. So, folks, here is a lovely lady, and she competes in the Wellness division in NPC. We have here the lovely Mrs. Taylor West. She is an NPC competitor. She last competed at the USA's, which was about, can you believe, about 2 months ago? It's about
About a month. Yeah, a little
about
over.
a month, yeah, a little month. And she used to be a dental hygienist, and she works in realtor in Vegas. Wow, what's that like? I mean, it's just wow. You can't find. So we're gonna have her share her story, her plans. It's not only but a few months, more or less months of 2025. Can you believe it? Shit,
No, flu.
just flew. So, madam, welcome and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. This is cool.
That's all right. Yeah. So, this is a question I ask you, ladies. What got you started in sports? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share.
So, how far back do we want to go?
As, as
Well,
far as your comfort going, young. As far as you can remember.
well, growing up, like I'm on the smaller side, height, but um, growing up, I was kind of taught to be very cautious of my weight. So my grandma was very, type of woman who never went outside not put together, and she's very cautious about her appearance and how she presented herself, and she kind of passed that down. Um, I grew up with just women on top of that, so um, everybody just kind of was taught the same habits, but that caused me to have an eating disorder like later in life. Um, and then, I feel like everybody's story kind of has a little bit of tragedy in it, as does mine. My mother had a stroke, passed away. So that also just kind of wrecked my nerves and made my eating disorder a lot worse. So it got to a point where I just didn't feel good waking up because of, what my body was going through. So I knew I needed to do something better for myself. So I, could improve and get rid of that habit. It's just not obviously not doing me any good. Um, so I hired a trainer out of one of my local gyms that I was going to, learned how to eat, how to use food, work with food and not be afraid of it, I guess, in other words. Um, yeah, so it kind of went from there. He taught me how to eat, how to lift, and then it started getting put in my head like you should, do more with this. He was a competitor himself, so um kind of put that in my head, and I was like, no, 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 hell no. I just wanted to be like stronger and feel better. Um Moving kind of on, I met my coach Nick, who I train with now, and it came up again, you ever thought about competing? And I was like, hell no, like I'm not doing that. But as time went on and I kind of started seeing what more potential I had with, how I can make my body do things that I wanted it to do, um, then I just kind of got more curious about competing, and he kind of moved me in from there. So that's kind of what got me more serious, like into building more muscle and stuff like that. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, look like you froze.
No, I'm like sitting here. I'm just listening to you because
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we started prepping in January this past January, and just kind of went from there. We did the Samson. That went really well, and I didn't expect that to happen. So then from there, it was just kind of like going on a roller coaster ride, and you get off and you're like, whoa, like I want to do that again. So we went on from there, did this Cutler about 3 weeks later. And then from there, we did nationals. So
Hmm.
it was just kind of an amusement park. It was just getting back on the roller coaster, getting back on the roller coaster, getting back on the roller coaster.
So you're still pretty much a brand new competitor to the sport. Is to go through a throwback. One of my favorite characters. Remember, I was a young man. Used to be a show called Martin. Used to love to watch. And this character called Jerome. He was a player, and Jerome told us to one guy said, "You're still wet behind the ears, and your breath smells like Similac." And and that's the thing about bodybuilding. Yeah, he's like Jerome. He's a international player from the Himalayas. So and
That's hilarious.
yeah, and that's the thing about bodybuilding. It's a process. It's about time to grow and how you develop as an athlete. And one thing I wiki feeling on is like with your mother, because my mother had her stroke, but she had like at least 3 seizures before that, and I was taking
Oh,
care of
goodness.
her for for quite a good while until she passed. And I know sometimes losing someone like that, because I've lost two of my siblings, my father, actually three of my siblings, because I had a brother before I was born. He passed, but I didn't get to know him. And sometimes food, it could be a comfort, because I know quite a few ladies in sport bodybuilding who have dealt with eating disorders, and and that's with one thing that probably got them into bodybuilding, because trying to find a way to control that disorder.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can definitely go both ways. You're right.
Mhm. Yeah. So your first show was the Simpson. Was it? What was the first
Yes.
show? Uh huh.
Samson
What?
was March 29th.
Hmm. And what's that feeling like being on stage and you're doing wellness? Why did you choose that division out of so many others to choose from?
That's a very good question. So naturally, I do have thicker legs. Um, I mean, I have been very thin, but I'm not really thin. Like, my legs don't really get very tiny. So when me and my coach kind of really started thinking about moving forward into competing, we just kind of were like, okay, let's see what we get. So I trained with him for, gosh, it was at least like a year and a half before I was like, okay, I'll compete. Because he was just kind of putting it in my head for like a year and a half. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. I just want to be buff. I just want to look good at the pool party. But once we started, we're like, I was like, okay, let's do this. We were just like, okay, let's see what we end up with. Don't think, just kind of assess what you have, and kind of guesstimate what, is going to happen with it. And me, like, I get bigger. So we were like, that's, you know, what we're working with. And that's the division that, that is that look.
Hmm.
So wellness. But I really do appreciate the shape. I love the hourglass. I love the curves. So it wasn't really hard for me to fall in love with it and kind of chase after it. So wellness was just, it was what was for me.
Yeah, I think each division works with a woman's physical aesthetics. Like you look at it, if you look at bikini, the girl's a little bit more leaner, a little bit more petite. If you look
Yeah.
at divisions like a figure, where they have the more wider shoulders, the broader back, the smaller waist, physique shares those aspects between figure and women's bodybuilding. And then
Yeah.
wellness, because it's such a new division where if you have like, well, that's why the Brazilians do so well, because they have those natural aesthetics, as I would say, those natural Afro aesthetics. They a little thicker in the hips and the thighs and the quads compared to other, ethnic groups. They share some things with Black people, because many of our descendants from our people, and you know, it's about how you grow as an athlete and your time you got to take. Because sometimes some people with some ladies I talked to, some division was a starter division for them, but then later on they went up. But then I think some
True.
ladies, they feel like they fit in that division and they grow and develop in that division.
Yeah, I feel right in place. with doing wellness for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's a experience for you, like especially y'all girls in the wellness, y'all be like, it's a particularly interesting division. I mean, when it came along, and especially it focuses on the lower half a bit more compared to the others. But it's I think like anything, it's the division that works with the person's best physical aesthetics overall. You look at it like you still with your coach.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been together for like a year and a half, and that's a pretty good relationship. I know some ladies they start out with a coach and then they sway up because sometimes some coaches may not understand, especially when it comes to women. The whole thing like when it comes to how their body grows, how to develop. Men and women, we're the same. How's the best way to say? We're the same race, but we're different species. Guys, if you look at certain particular men, they can gain more muscle compared to a woman because women y'all don't have testosterone like we do. And then if you do use like performance enhancers or any kind of stuff that helps you in your process, not like when people talk about bodybuilding, they think about everybody's taking steroids, just get big and rah rah rah. But that's only part of the process. Like you have to train, you have to work out, you have to diet. I mean, like what's your training like during the week?
During the week, like as in like
Yeah.
how many
Yeah,
days I'm doing.
yeah, having days to do and what you're training and everything else you focus on.
So I do about like four. When I split, so I do upper body, I do lower. I split my legs and my glutes. Um, Sometimes I'll do back and shoulders together. Sometimes focus on back or shoulders. So especially right now, with not having any deadlines or like any specific thing that I need to be concerned about, everything's just kind of spread out.
Hmm. And you did
So
and you did USA's. What was the critique you got from the judges? What did they tell you might need to work on?
for USA's. So for USA's, it was just a little bit more tightness in the glutes, in my kind of lower glute area. Um, that though, I feel like because I don't know if you've seen like my page before, USA's was it was a rough road to get to USA's. Ideally, I wish I would have taken a break like after my um second NPC show, the Cutler, and then maybe did a different bigger show. Because I mean, we just were actually talking about it. Doing so many peak weeks so close together, it my body under like a lot of stress. And then being new as well, still wet behind the ears, right? Being new and putting my body through this like whole new thing that it's not done before, it put me under a lot of stress. So before USA's, I actually had some issues. One of them, I went into the hospital for like emergency. I went to the emergency room for some digestive issues. So there were just some things like my body was kind of pushing back. It was kind of like, okay, like, we're gonna have to wrap this up. Um, so I kind of credit a lot of me not coming in as good as I could have, kind of to those little setbacks.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
I
I
think
mean,
one
it
thing.
wasn't the worst thing that could have been
Yeah, I think it's one thing.
critiqued.
Yeah, I think it's one thing. You just starting out. I think it should be just to get you along slowly, let you build your
Hmm.
physique, your overall conditioning. Also, be aware of also anything that happens because you know what your body is the most important thing. If
Absolutely.
you got to take care of it. It's good that if your coach is always monitoring your health, your also your blood work, stuff like that. And again, for women, you're doing something that's very extreme. As you know, women, y'all supposed to be we are wives, our mothers, our girlfriends. Y'all supposed to be soft. I grew up with my mother and three sisters. But I had there was a little bit more testosterone in the house because I had my younger brother, my older brother, my two nephews. But I worked a long time with women. I mean, my first real job, I worked 13 years at textile plant. So it's all more women. And then I had another job. My first real job was I used to work at a gas station. I used to work with girls and with cash registers like that. And then I had another job later on where I worked in a strip club, and you're working with women. Oh yeah, yeah. I used to say, George, man, you work in the strip club. Like, no, man, it's not all that. It's not. Sometimes it's like this. This girl's not making the money, and it's not a good night. Sometimes people act a fool. You say to yourself, why people act a fool? Got titties and ass hanging around here. I don't know why. But here we got here. Shout out to our man, Job Simpkins coming through. He says this. He says, "What's good, George and Taylor? Not much, brother. What's good with you?" And yeah, going to the hospital. I know quite a few ladies have had an issue every now and then, but that's why it's good to also pay attention to your health. If you have a regular doctor, go see him as often as you can. Get yourself tested. I mean, even though this is, wellness is not as extreme as some of the other divisions, but still, you have to bring in that conditioning and that development.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So folks, while we got Taylor here talking with her, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into her social media for a little bit, get a little information into her, and find a little more about this young lady. Guys, if you want to follow her, her link's in the description of this live. Check her out. Reach out to her in genuine interest. But guys, I know she's a pretty girl. She's very attractive. She's sitting right here. But you guys out there, you know who you are. You sick freaks. This is a lovely lady. She has a kid. Be respectful. No weird shit. If I hear about it, I'm kicking somebody's ass. So yeah, I got to say, because sometimes guys be weird like that. And so, folks, we're going to jump into her social media a little bit. And you want to follow her, the link in the description. Give me a second here. We was just here. And here we are, right here. And, there she is right here in the gym. Working out. What was your, like, when you're gym training, what's the thing you love to work out the most? This is a cute little picture.
I like doing legs and glutes, I think. Probably leg day a little bit more than glutes, but it's hard to choose.
Anytime I hear a female bodybuilder who say they love leg day, you're sick.
Shout out to my girl Nancy.
Oh, Nancy. Wow. Hey, Nancy.
Yeah.
Wow. She's a competitor too, or she just a friend?
I'm sorry?
Is she a competitor too, or she just a friend?
No, she's a gym girl, but she doesn't compete.
Wow, you might need to try to maybe recruit her. Wow,
she could if
nice.
She wants to.
Yeah, look here, she doing the wellness poses. Look at her quads. Wow, I mean, nice shape, nice definition, nice tone. Just like I said, just bring conditioning a little bit. I think you have the goods. Like I say, and like the day to day for you. Like, as you have a career in realtor. How did you start at that?
So I actually worked in lending. I did loan processing. And I mean, like, I like to call myself a serial skiller. I did lending, and then I was in dentistry for some years. Um, when I came out of dentistry, I kind of was like, I want to pick up on something else. Really familiar with kind of the whole housing situation with doing lending and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna go get a real estate license and went and did that. So yeah, it's kind of a common career here in Vegas.
Yeah, I heard that. I think because Vegas has, I think no property taxes, and I think also some other things. I think because the cost of living is not as expensive compared to other places because it's a big, gambling city.
I don't. It's kind of that'd probably be up for debate right now with a lot of people because the city's grown a lot and it's changing. So things are not really what they once were.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, Disney tried to buy into it, try to make it more, family friendly, but it didn't work out. I think because Vegas is supposed to be the places adults go to have fun and get away from the kids and the family members.
It's really changed a lot. I grew up here, so it's very different. I don't know. I love it here, and I just kind of grow with it too. So it's not really anything crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm a country boy, ma'am. I've been living out the country most of my life. I've been to a big city a couple of times, woo doggy. But when I see women like you, I say, wow. I say,
city girls, right?
Yeah, city girls. Y'all sure are pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But like I said, this is a great physique, great detail. Like I said, you're still brand new to the sport, and it's gonna take some time. I would
Yeah, and that's the
say,
fun part.
yeah, that's the thing is that's it's a what they say is you got to trust the process, but not so much trust the process, understand it, then you can trust it because you got to know what you're doing, and it's good
I like
that you
that.
got your coach and your team working with you and coming a long way. Hmm. So, what do you feel as a woman in sport of bodybuilding? You think you might think you might need to help you get to that next level when it comes to competition?
What I need as an individual,
Yeah,
um, just keep improving on things. I mean, that's what more can you really do? Just keep going forward. Um, right now, I'm not really too concerned about too much. Like I know what I need to work on, but I'm excited about it. I want to grow in every way. So I don't
yeah.
really feel like I'm in need of anything too much right now.
Well, like I said, I think it's like I said, this process is about what the best things work for you as you develop along the way, the things you necessarily need as an athlete, and things that probably can help, in your process. I mean, bodybuilding is a tough sport. From my conversations, I think one lady told me it's not as tough compared to she used to do the Ironman and the the triathlete stuff,
Mhm.
but this is a different level compared to any other sport because it's not as mainstream. I know it's because you have the Olympia right there in Vegas, and it's coming up about a month. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's
About a
very
month away.
important.
Wow, it's flying. And you know, it's a sport that takes a lot. Some people a lot of sacrifice, but then it's more of an investment. Like some people tell me, because for one thing, traveling to the show because you're still an amateur, you have to pay to compete. The cost of your coach, the cost of because you're in the sport, as I call them, you're in one of the TNA sports. That's divisions, that's bikini and wellness, and you have to have presentation. Having that combination of muscularity and femininity.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's like being in Vegas, that's becoming a very popular bodybuilding town. Has there anybody that you met that you were like, wow, you were just amazed by them or just really respect their ethics and work?
Yes, that's been like one of my favorite things about entering the whole world of competing. I've met a lot of amazing people, a lot of girls, a lot of girls in my division as well, a lot of girls that are in other divisions. Um, I think one lady in particular that really like mesmerized me is Rania. She actually just got her pro card.
Rania
She's
Tally.
women's, yeah,
Yeah, a friend of mine interviewed her a while back. She
Rania.
just, yeah, she was also with the USA's with you. She got her pro card and she made her
Yes, she
debut.
was there,
And I was at Tampa just last month when she made her debut.
and she was there, yeah.
Yeah, she was really good. I mean, she was in top five. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I
hope
seen her, she was at Samson, and I just remember seeing her, and I'm like, "Wow," like, she, like, you were just saying, like, you were talking about, like, the feminine side and the, physical side of everything, and I think she's, like, an amazing package with that. Very, very beautiful and very, very amazing physique as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some amazing ladies who I've seen over time. I've been following this sport for a long time. When I was coming up, I was more like, especially like when I got into it, my older brother used to get the muscle magazines. I used to play football here in hometown. That's the story I always, because my brother James, he used to get the muscle magazines. He used to work out because helping, work out. We was doing football. We didn't have the weights. We used to use cinder blocks and stuff. We were country boys. Until he got into high school, he started using the weights. And then there's guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger and guys like Lee Haney and Dorian Yates and quite a few other guys I remember back in the day. But then something kind of changed to me, especially when I got to my pubescent ages, when I got to my teenage years. Then something about y'all ladies, it kind of just changed me to a different person. Just the amazing, beautiful women I've seen over the years, like people like Corey Everson and Laura Craval and so many others. And there's this one lady who I'm a fan of. You probably saw her a few times. And she's one of my favorites all time. That is a lovely, Mrs. Andrea Shaw.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've seen on socials, seen some of some content with her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she exudes what is very attractive, very feminine, especially in the higher level, like women's bodybuilding. Let me tell you a story. And I always want, that's why I always shout out my friend Eunice from Bad Rap because, and I always bring this out because to quote my other half, if you get it something, never do it for free. And often I call this my payment. This was like about a couple years ago. It was my birthday. And my friend Eunice was at the Olympia when it was in Orlando back in 2023. This is the last issue of Muscle Development as hard copy. And she got it for me. But not just getting this for me, she was there. She ran to Andrea. And I always like to show this off because this is something, this is my pride and joy. I have a bunch of magazines, but what makes this one special is the fact that she signed it.
Wow, that's really special.
That's really special. That's why I love her. She's gonna be my girlfriend. So, but you know what? This is a sport. Yeah, I know. You get to know me, you realize I'm crazy. But this is a sport that it's a passion sport. Um, you feel like there could be better ways for competitors to, maybe get the help and assistance in the sport. Like especially you went to the hospital, like you're still an amateur. Maybe something to cover the cost of your training, the cost of of going to the shows. What do you think you would need financially to help you out?
Um, trying to see how to answer your question.
Well,
You're
just
saying what would
basically,
we need?
yeah. Like if you like to say, are you sponsored? That's a quick question, y'all.
Oh, am I sponsored?
Yeah, are you sponsored?
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, and that's why I say like sponsorship helps competitors because there's a lot of costs because for you ladies, I say this for you ladies, all you got to do, you have to have a presentation. Your posing suits was that's a good chunk of change. Your shoes, your hair, your makeup, the jewelry you have to wear. While you look over the guys, all they got to do is put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts and slap on some tanning. You have to bring a presentation of beauty and muscle and grace, and that's a cost. That's expensive.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, everybody seems to find a way. If they, if you really want something, you're gonna figure out how to make it happen. Um, I can't really speak for, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. Some people are chasing the sponsorships. Um, some of us have, existing um ways to pay for things. You have an existing career or whatever. So I don't really like what would make it. I couldn't really say what would make it like easier or less taxing financially. I'm not sure.
Well, there's plenty of ways, but you want those ways to be something that you feel comfortable in doing. I know, like I said again, other ladies have ways of making money, and we know about those other ways. It's not for everybody, it's not for everybody, because but you know what, following the sport as long as I have, I see it has evolved over time. You know, back in the day, I used to remember you could watch it on television, but now you don't watch it on television. It doesn't get enough attention, because right
Mhm.
there you're in Vegas, and one of the more popular sports right there is mixed martial arts, UFC. And
Right.
I've interviewed MMA fighters and a couple of UFC level competitors. It's mostly women, and I've seen the sport has evolved. I was a big mixed martial arts fan. I grew up with boxing as a kid, but it came along, but it was something different, and that's what I like bodybuilding. Like I think I like talking to ladies in MMA and also combat sports. Y'all get that same kind of stink eye where people don't think that you belong in the sport, especially it's a sport where if you look at MMA, it's very blood and guts. Look at bodybuilding, it's muscle and growth.
Yeah, there probably are some people who feel that way.
Yeah, and even like you love a young lady, very attractive young lady. There's people who will say, even you see it's a little bit of muscle, just a little bit. They make these comments like, "Why you need all these muscles? And, are you trying to be manly or something? What's wrong? Why you like that?"
Yeah, somebody likes it. That's I don't know. I just over time you kind of learn not to worry about all the other stuff. Like you just focus on what you're doing. You're not worrying about what everybody else feels. Um, and another thing too, I guess with bodybuilding, you find your people. So I actually had a conversation with somebody, kind of the more you get into the sport and start meeting more people, you start making more friends and they're very similar to you. So having a conversation with them, it's just so seamless and kind of talking about something that might sound crazy to somebody who doesn't train as crazy, but you find your people, and I think worry about each other, worry about yourself, and all that other stuff, what people have to say are going to really affect you.
Well, bodybuilding, it's a kind of small community, but it's growing worldwide. I recently interviewed a lady who's Ivy Pro from the Philippines, a lady from as far as Czech Republic, South Africa, Australia, countries like Mexico, Chile,
Yeah.
Argentina. I mean, it's just recently, just was it about a few weeks ago, they had the Masters Olympia in Japan. It's growing, but it's still kind of a small community in a way. But it's good to find somebody who share your passions. Like I know your mom passed. You still have any other family members left, or how they think about it?
Oh yeah, no, my family is very accepting. I mean, I'm not doing anything like, I mean, it could be worse, right? Like it's not crack. No. Um, no, my family's very supportive. I'm very, very lucky to have a very open-minded family. So um yeah, nobody's ever had anything crazy. My grandma probably, if she was still alive, she'd always say something crazy. But my grandma's whole thing is this, at least as long as you're not fat. So like, so maybe she wouldn't. But no, I grew up with a very open-minded family. So they're still very open-minded. So
That's good because you know what
excited for me.
I know I've talked to ladies where parents don't understand it. I just interviewed a young lady. She's a bikini competitor, and her family is originally from India, and they're very traditional. Like she's a doctor. Also, she serves our country, United States Air Force, as an officer. But still, her mother wants her to be happily married and have kids. But she respects her daughter's choices. I have some ladies who told me that when they got to sport, because they were changing their looks, they were not as feminine as they used to be in the mind of their husbands or boyfriends. Some ladies told me they got divorced. But this sport, when you find and discover it, it can maybe bring a new passion to your life. Some ladies like yourself, you have a child, and even that is a responsibility. Like, how old is your baby?
He just turned 15.
So he's a team. Remember me. Like my mom used to told us, those boys get their age, remember to beat them down. You gotta
Oh my goodness.
you gotta remember, hey. Because he's the man in the house, right? That's like
No, he's a good kid. I have no concerns with him at all. He's a good kid.
how he feels about his mom strutting on stage, wearing a posing suit and everything is out, and I know his friends like, hey, Mrs. West, I just came to your show, just hanging with your son here, like teenage boys, we were like we be wilding.
No, not really. Like my son, he's actually on the spectrum. So he's not a huge social butterfly, if you will. Um and usually, I mean, as far as teens and stuff like that, they tend to think I'm their age. When I'm picking them up from school or whatever, um, they walk past me like I'm just another student or something. It's, some of them they kind of bump into you. You're like, hey, like, watch it. I'm somebody's mom, but um, no, he's just kind of chill. He's just so chill with it. He knows like, hey, I'm going to the gym or whatever. It's, he's grown very used to it. He's not really big into attending the competitions. Um, he's like I said, he's more just like a chill, he likes quiet. So he's used to it. He knows mom's going to the gym or whatever. He's just kind of like,
Well, you have a special brother. Me and my mother, we were taking care of my nephew. He was also autistic, and we took him from 2 to 5 years old until mom got sick, and his mother took him because
Mhm.
my mom couldn't take care of him much anymore. I was doing a pretty good job, but you know how it is with women. You want to take your babies, and I mean, like this is the old saying: a boy's best friend is his mother. Mine was mine, and we were close. And even though I had my brothers and sisters, but they were off doing their own thing. I was still here with my mom. We used to do this. Sometimes my old job, I worked 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, off on Fridays. Sometimes she'd say, "What you doing?" Nothing. So you want to go with me? Say, "Where you going?" We're going to the yard sale. Okay, I go. Got nothing to do. We go shopping, hang out. Sometimes when my other brother when he was off work, we'd go out together, a woman and her two sons. So we had a good time. And that's good that he supports you and your family and friends support you, because people would never understand what it takes to be a bodybuilder. The discipline, the determination, and also the persistence and the consistency.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, if you could do anything, what would you change about the sport in your mindset?
What I change about it? Oh, um, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a whole lot to change. I don't know. Maybe. Mm, I don't really know. I don't really think there's a whole lot. I mean, it's forever changing anyway, but there's nothing like that bothers me that I would want to be different or anything I feel like is really missing for me.
One thing I think is one thing is like you see now how the divisions are changing, where just recently this year there's a new division called I just can't. It's on my tongue. I can't, it's
I'll say
called
it.
say it.
Fit model. Oh, come
And
on. You gotta be nice.
I have nothing against the competitors. I've interviewed a couple of fit
Okay.
model competitors. I interview a couple. I'm willing to open the interview them, but I just not a fan of it. This is my mindset. You have the division that was originally like that division, but then because that division started to evolve, if you go back to women's bodybuilding right about the early '80s, those
Hmm.
women, there's a link somebody sent me. I'll send it to you later. You can check it out. Those women are smaller compared to women you see now in bikini. You know, someone like Iris Kyle couldn't compete. She couldn't probably compete in women's physique. You know, even with her physique, she had a great physique. I follow Iris Kyle.
Yes.
And then you've seen the girls, like one thing how bikini in the IFB level has evolved, because you're seeing women now because who coming in there with those round cap shoulders. They have glutes with like tight like a bear trap, and they bring this division in because it's supposed to be a throwback, like they have men's classic, But here's the
Okay.
thing is, it's going to evolve like the other divisions. If you look at wellness now, because so many women are jumping from physique and figure down to that division, and it changed it. Like when physique came in, it supposed to replace women's bodybuilding, and you see a lot of women jumping from that division. And then now you look at people like one lady who just recently got her qualification for the Olympia, Melissa Tyke, who was physique. You look at someone like Paula Ranta, who was figure. Now she's doing physique. And there's some figure competitors that should do physique, and some women physique competitors who should do bodybuilding. Even I've seen some bikini girls who should be doing figure. Not so much wellness because they still don't have the lower dominance of the glutes and the quads.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. This thing is, I learned a long time ago. My master, Raza Gula Demon Head, taught me: beware of surrounds at all time, young Master Wayne. Never give sure footing for a killing blow. I know I quote a lot of movies. That's just me. So,
Oh no, same.
yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. I love movies. But I love the Kill Bill movies. Love I can watch those over and over and over. I love it. I just love Beatrix Kiddo, the character. So like movies like that. I love a lot of Quentin Tarantino's work.
Yeah.
I love Blumhouse films. Love those. Um I I could never pick a favorite movie.
Well, I have a lot. Like one thing, I love the whole Batman, Chris Nolan, Dark Knight trilogy. I love that. Just that version of Batman was just. That's why I love this guy because he's just my favorite version of the Joker. I mean, Keith just took it, he ran with it, and he made him so like what things that make you stranger, make you stronger, and and also one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. I saw it when it
Mhm.
came to theaters. My brother and my nephew went to another movie. Their movie was over by the time The Matrix ended. I was still in the theater. I say they told me that movie was shit. You should come with me. They said, "Man, this was a good movie." I mean, the last one they put out wasn't that good. I didn't really see. I saw some clips of it. It just didn't look like Neo and thing like that. But yeah, like I said, I like to watch a good movie now. I don't watch it like I used to. I'm mostly at my age now. I'm watching old westerns and cartoons and judge shows.
Nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that. I'm not a big like TV. I don't really watch TV, but I love a good movie myself.
yeah. So, like I said, this is, as I said again, what doesn't make you stranger make you stronger. Words that, especially as a big dude, I love food. I can't help it. I know you have to deal with your past with eating disorder, but after that show, Taylor, what's that thing you want that most? That thing that you desire? That
Oh my
thing that
gosh.
just be calling your name, especially after a long prep.
So, my post-show go-tos are peanut M&Ms. I always That's like the first thing I want. It's peanut M&Ms.
Uh, I like more like the peanut, and the peanut M&Ms. I like those too. Those are my favorite. I like Snickers. I don't try to eat too much candy. I'm trying to shade my girlish figure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So gotta
but
cut a little bit of candy out.
yeah, every now and then, a little something. I try. Like I said, a few years ago, before my mom passed, I was almost 500 pounds. I was just maybe a few pounds shy from it. But then I had to make a choice because I ain't had nobody to take care of myself. So I made some choices, made some decisions, and right now I'm sitting at about 4'7", 4'8". That's pretty good. It's a time, and I also have issues because I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm not as a spry young man like I used to be. Like when I used to play football, I used to lift weights and you that. Then you go out in the real world, you get a job. You don't have time to lift weights. You got to work and pay bills.
Well, I mean, you have to make time. You're not gonna just like have it. You have to create it. I mean, everything new you do in your life, you have to fit it in, right?
Yeah, yeah, well, that's it. Is. Yeah, I get fit it in, but I'm too much of a procrastinator of nature. I do everything last in a minute. But um, when I started doing this content and talk to you ladies, I really get learned something, and it does help me in my process, like how to eat, how to train. I gained something more than just instead of just talking to a pretty like you. You are pretty, and hearing your stories and your passion about the sport and that's why I want people to understand it more. And again, I said again, I wish people be more educating and willing and open minded because you do have those haters out there. But there's also a flip side to this, Taylor. There's another side. There's the side of the guys who kind of like a little bit strange. They love women like you, especially plump, muscular women, because in their mind, you are beautiful. But like I said again, you are an athlete, a mother, a businesswoman, and you want to be taken seriously for that. But like I said again, you are an attractive young lady.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You don't need to say thank you to me. I'm a Southern gentleman. It is my honor and my privilege to tell a lady that she's beautiful. We're going to tell you that. Yeah. So, what's the plan now? You feel like you want to wait some more, maybe next year, or like you said, you're in Vegas. There is the Amateur Olympic around the corner, or maybe the Nationals.
No, I'm gonna be on the shelf for a little bit. That was just kind of my first. It was my first season. Kind of know what my body does and um what it doesn't like and likes, and so with that all being done and what we've taken away from it, we're just gonna go on to improve more. But we're not really worried about what shows we're doing just yet. It's only been what I think a little bit over a month, so we're gonna let the body calm down and just kind of reset itself. keep training. Um, from there, maybe into next year, we'll start thinking about what's next when it's time to get on stage again.
Hmm. Like I
But
said,
I mean, I did 3 shows in 7 months. So,
yeah.
like 7 months of competing. I mean, you have to kind of keep everything together. I really didn't give myself um any downtime. So 7 months
Yeah.
is like almost a year. So I gotta take some time to reset and chill out a little bit. But we're gonna keep working, of course, the whole time and improving, and then you'll be the first to know what's next.
Well,
I'll
I
let you know.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I mean, like I said, we're already into the ninth month of this year. Wow.
Hmm.
Things, it's just summer's just about to end around the corner. Just had Labor Day yesterday. I mean, time flies by. So we just started 2025,
Yeah, especially when
and
you're busy. Goes
yeah.
by quick.
Yeah, I'm not too busy like I used to be. Like I said, I used to hold down 2 jobs, taking my mom and just like that. Now I just got me. I'm not working much like I used to. Just doing this. This keeps me busy because every now and then do interviews, do content. A lady I interviewed a while back. She just had a birthday today, so I'm just posting something on my IG. I got stuff got to work on. I got a couple of interviews coming up. Like I said, last month I had a bunch of interviews. I went to Tampa. I enjoyed myself. I met people there that I follow on social media, ladies I'm doing interviews with, and doing this content on y'all women because I'm a fan. I have to make my claim again, Taylor. I am a muscle person, no, but you know what? I do have interest in your division, as I said before. But like anything, it's about the process as you grow and how far you're going to go as an athlete. Take that time off, rest, recover. There's quite a few more shows that's a qualification for a pro card. You know, if you
Hmm.
do get your pro card, would you want to do your first show that year, or you feel like you want to say, you know what, let me take some time and take my growing season?
Um, Kind of depends on what's going on. Um, I guess depending on how spaced out, I guess that's something we'll have to think about when it's time to start thinking about it is um what shows and which ones are, after that one, how far out, because that was kind of a thing with what, I just went through here. So want to be able to do everything gracefully and not too erratically.
And that balance, now as you work as a realtor, what's your like how your days are like as you're working? Is it like you're busy? Is it like this or that? You got things you got to do, or selling houses? Do you
It's
you
pretty.
sell it? You sell and rent, or you just sell?
So I do both. I just really started focusing on real estate again. So right now it's kind of calm. I'm not really a pushy person either. So a lot of my clients are more of the steady type. So I don't, it's for me when I'm gonna do something major, it needs to be a hell yes. I don't want to be pushed into that. So not really pushy. We have a lot of people that are kind of waiting to see what rates do. So my days aren't insanely busy with real estate right now, but I do also do short-term rentals. That's a little bit more busier. It's kind of taking up more time for me right now. I have a couple of properties that I do like Airbnbs with and stuff. So it's been pretty busy.
Well, most definitely
So
next month y'all gonna get some business. Most definitely with the
yeah,
Olympia
yeah.
Water Quarter, and also there's another show coming up. I don't know if it's gonna be as busy. It's called the Steve Carr Show. It's gonna be a pro am show. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah. A friend of mine, he just interviewed Austin Carr, and another bodybuilder is gonna be competing in that show, and that might be something that maybe bring in some revenue, get some attention. Quite a few bodybuilders will use Airbnbs because sometimes it might be cheaper than a motel, and there's a lot more convenient, especially if you want to cook, because there's some motels where you bring in a microwave or if you use kind of a hot plate in the
Yeah.
rooms. So if you have a place where you can do what you need to do, like you're at home. I've never been an Airbnb. Somebody suggested to me one time if they go out of town, try one. I don't know. It's one thing, trying to be comfortable in a motel room in a bed you're not familiar with, but someone else's house, I'm thinking about it.
I mean, it's good for some people. It's not good for everybody, but
Yeah. And also, folks, as you know, as I said again, she is a realtor. So if you want to check her out, this is her card right here. Also, like I said again, I'll leave the link in the description. If you're in the Vegas area and you, like I said, there's a couple of shows coming up for both the, for the Olympia, and she does Airbnbs. And if you want to reach out to her and you're genuinely interested, hey, and also she's a bodybuilder like yourself, an amateur. She's still wet behind the ears, but still she has potential. But also, if you're interested in setting up, I guess, Airbnb, if you're coming to do the Olympia, and like, I know usually it's that motels are really reasonable in Las Vegas because it's a big gambling town. Hello?
sorry, you kind of froze up, I think.
Oh, wait, can you still see me?
I can see, yeah, it just froze for a second. The last thing I heard you say was something about gambling.
Yeah, because Vegas is a big gambling town. It's probably one
Right.
of the biggest. Yeah,
Yes.
because you have
Yes.
Vegas, Reno, a bunch of other towns.
It
It's
has
I think
more, it has more to offer than just that.
like I said again, ma'am, I'm a country boy. I'm just still learning about these things. But
Well, you got to
I,
come out to the city.
I, I'm, I'm, I'm planning one of these days because you know what? I would love to go. I gotta have to myself a 2-year plan because we go there. It's the Olympia is not as it's not very cheap. It's not, just the nosebleed seats is already $300. Think about it. You want to sit in the front row. And I know that motels are reasonable, but then the whole experience, that's the thing that costs. And then I've never been a plane in my life, so I gotta get ready for that part. I've been on a train a couple of times, bus. I'm like Mr. T. There used to be a TV show called The A-Team with Mr. T. And every time you have to get on a plane, they have to put some in his milk or his food to knock him out because he didn't like being on a plane. So that's me.
Oh,
But
wow.
I remember my niece telling me, say, "There's nothing wrong with flying. If you crash, your ass is through." But like I said again, it's not as bad compared to driving. There's more crashes in driving than there is in flying.
Yeah, everything comes with risk, but I mean, they can't let it stop you.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. You gotta have some courage about this. So,
Yeah,
folks,
definitely.
we're not gonna hold much too long. She's a nice young lady. She took time to talk with me and share her story. I mean, particularly is being a content maker. I always want to reach out to people that interest me and also maybe interest y'all. So again, if you're interested in following her, links in the description. If you particularly are, I said again, she is a realtor, and if you are in the Vegas area, if you're just there to visit, or if you're a competitor because the Olympia weekend's coming up, and you want to set up an Airbnb or something like that, reach out to and share interest. But don't be that
Got
weird
you.
guy. Yes, don't be that weird guy. Like this, guys might say, "Hey Taylor, I saw you in that interview with George. You're a cute little thing. You're a cute you're like a little toy. So if I do something for you, no, you sick freak. Stop that. How tall are you?
So that's like always been up for a debate depending on what doctor's office I'm at. I've been told 4'9", but I've also gotten that I'm a little bit over, so that I'm like 4'10", barely. So in other words, I'm short.
I just interviewed a young lady a couple weeks ago. She competes in women's physique. She's a pro. She's 4'8".
Oh, wow.
She's just an inch shorter than you. And there's one
Oh,
lady,
wow.
she's no longer competes. She's an IFB Pro bodybuilder. Her name's Michaela Acock. She's 4'11", but her muscles are just
Oh,
crazy. Her condition is crazy. She used to retired. But this is what people I wanted for y'all to do. If you do follow Taylor, and you somebody out there, because like I said, that she's a businesswoman, she's business minded. If you have a business plan, and you know what, sponsorship does help these competitors because the cost of everything involved, training, the travel, the suits, there's so much to it. If you're interested in sponsoring her, and if you have a plan that works and satisfy her, this is what you do. Mrs. Taylor, we're interested in sponsoring athletes. We saw your recent interview. Your story about your life, how you start, is there something that really, really piques our interest. So if you are maybe inclined, we'd like to maybe suggest you be part of our company as a brand ambassador. So let us know if you're comfortable with our product and if it's something that you feel like you can use in your process. We're happy to help you out in your way as a bodybuilder. Other than that, we just want to see you succeed. So you feel like you'd be interested in something like that?
Yeah, I definitely entertain proposals.
Sign the contract, baby. We got you. Yeah, yeah. Because like I say, yeah, guys, we like, yo, man. She like it makes me, it made me think of Is you remember the Chappelle show? Because you can watch TV a
Oh, of
lot. But
course.
yeah, remember the episode where Charlie Murphy talked about Tiny Smith Prince?
Oh gosh, I like I said, I was not really a big TV person. I remember
Where
some things, but
this is the story of was it? It was when he was hanging with his brother Eddie, and they were hanging out. And they met Prince, and Prince is hanging out with these bunch of guys. There's one guy in the group. His name was Mickey Free. Now, Mickey Free was a new singer for a group called Shalimar. He's remember back in the day when I was coming up. But Mickey was a very, very pretty looking man. And then back then in the 80s, the dudes that looked most like the bitch were getting the women. And he'd say, yeah, yo, Mickey Free, yo, man, that chick's fine as a motherfucker. You're Mickey Free, you're fine as a motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you that.
thank
Yeah, that's the thing. Now,
you.
like a man, I'm a man. I gotta tell you that. If I don't, I'll be lying. And I think you have a lot of potential. It's about where you're gonna go in your path, how you're gonna do with the people like your training, your coach, and your friends standing by you. You can go far. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna have those days like wishing you in the hospital. You have those days where you don't feel like going to the gym. You have those days where you don't feel like eating broccoli and chicken. You have those days where you don't want to do leg day. But if you are disciplined, motivation is one thing. But you have the discipline and determination and the persistence and the consistency, you can go far in this sport. Some people get frustrated and they quit because they feel like, they don't do enough. But sometimes you have to be willing to make
Yeah,
those, make that push. Like the quote, another great movie, Rocky Balboa says, it's not how hard you think it hits, how hard you take the hits and keep moving forward.
hmm absolutely. I mean, of course, you have those days. I think if you have to want to do everything, so I mean, everything you do, you have to want to do it. So if you love it and you want to do it, I don't think it's gonna be a challenge to do. So
I think about challenges. There are things that did like I remember somebody told me this, my brother died. God don't put no more on you can bear. Sometimes you'll bend, but as long as you don't break, you're good.
yeah.
Yeah. She has a
I've seen
cheat.
something kind of like that too. Is like it talks about there was something I read where it talks about how the bamboo bends with the wind, the bamboo plant. So absolutely,
Yeah,
just go with it.
bamboo's pretty strong. My mom used to beat us with sticks like
Ah,
bamboo. Hey, like I said, she had to raise them other kids, so she had to use all the tools she needs to. You got to change it, but he's a good boy. He's a good boy. So, as a we like I said, we do appreciate Taylor's time here. We wish you all the best in the path in sport. It's gonna be tough. There's gonna be days where you just feel like, you know what, I don't want it. Why I'm doing it. But the thing is, it's not truly a sport, more or less a hobby. But if you love it and love what you get out of it, what you gain from it, you can really, really enjoy all the aspects of it, even the tough parts of it.
absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Mhm. So, madam, do you have anybody you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Of course, I'm gonna shout out my coaches, Nick Swoles. I'm gonna shout out my opposing coach, Team D's, and my other coach, Joe with Physique RX.
That's a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. You forget you forget
Got a
one
really big team.
you forget one little person of your team,
What's that?
your boy.
Oh, my son?
Yes, I
Oh,
think
of course.
he's like I said this. A boy's best friend is mother. I know he's your biggest cheerleader.
I kind of lost you again.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I said your a boy's best friend is mother. I know he's your biggest cheerleader.
He's my biggest what? Cheerleader?
Yeah, your biggest cheerleader.
He's definitely my biggest motivator, because like you were saying, about what you get out of it, I another really big thing. that I feel like I get from it is longevity, health, So he's definitely a big motivator. I want to be around a very long time so I can be, you know, with him.
Yeah, got strong mom saying, like that's my mom there, and say that's your mom. Yeah, you want me to be your daddy? Nah,
Oh my
stop that.
gosh.
But yeah, it's good that. Hey, I said again, you're a pretty woman. I know there's tempting things, but I think that's good that you have your coaches, your trainers, your friends, your family, your son there. Because most ladies don't have that. Some it's difficult because sometimes in sport you make a lot of sacrifices. Your friends and family may not understand it, and then you don't spend the time like you used to when you were before you got the bodybuilding. But sometimes you don't call it so much a sacrifice; an investment as a better you.
Yeah, I feel like it's better said as an investment. Like you said, you're getting something back. So
Yeah. But like I said
yeah.
again, bodybuilding is expensive. You put more into it and you get out of it. But listen, if you realize it's an investment for you, that's a good thing. So, folks, I said again, if you're interested in following Taylor, her links in the live stream. Also, I said again, she is a realtor. If you are in the Vegas area, just looking for maybe set up a house. If you're coming there, the Olympics weekend coming up, and you want to, she does Airbnbs, and just a place to stay for a few weeks while you're there. Reach out to her. Here's her card. Her links are in the description. If you're genuinely interested in her story, reach out, show support. These ladies deserve this. Just respect her as a woman, as a mother, as a business person, and just understand that this sport is about who she wants to grow as an athlete. And like I said again, I got pulled back by old hillbilly. She sure ass party. Yeah, don't mean to scare you like that. But like I said again, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope things go with you for
Thank
you
you.
and yours. And like I said again, maybe someday we do see you on the big stage, like maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic or the Olympia, or just getting your pro card.
For sure.
Yeah.
You'll see me somewhere soon.
Yeah, yes. I want to get a shout out to our man John Simpson coming through. Guys who did watch this, support this content and support me. As again, you want to follow Taylor, her links in the description of this live. Reach out in genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. Be respectful. She's a nice young lady. I know she's a little shy. It's her first time being on here, but as the other guy says, I'll be gentle. And before I leave you, Taylor, I have to tell you something. Again, you are beautiful. I'm sorry about that. I can't help myself. But wish you all the best of luck in your future. Hello? Hello? I think something happened with me. I think I froze up or something. Well, folks, I don't know if it's me or her. Let me check something. If it is, it's probably me. But again, I wish you all the best. Um, Something's going wrong with my computer. It's technical difficulties. But well, Taylor, I'd like to say thank you again, and I hope future. So, anyway, folks, this is your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good afternoon, good night, and good luck, and God bless.